Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
At Amazon, we're pretty good at getting things done. We're pretty good at solving problems. COVID-19 is the biggest challenge we've had to face. But challenges are what motivate us. Like flying masks to our employees around the world. We're doing everything we can to get you what you need, and doing everything we can to keep our people safe. I'm former Navy pilot Sarah Rhodes, and I'm proud to lead our Amazon Air network.
Welcome to Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner on 12-Ounce Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my 132nd show. And ladies and gentlemen, today is the last day of 2020. Get hyped, we are just a little bit under 13 hours away from 2021. And what a better way to spend this next hour not thinking about it. Listening to one of your favorite show hosts, Glenn Kaplan on 12-Ounce Sports. I have a lot on my mind today, and this is gonna be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this is the best show that I have put together yet. But let's get started with the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots game recap. The Buffalo Bills completely demolished and destroyed the New England Patriots 38-9. And this is what it must have felt like for Buffalo all these years when Tom Brady and Bill Belichick was dominating. Now Bill Belichick knows what it feels like to be bullied and to be punched in the mouth by when you bully them all these years. And he simply doesn't know what to do about it. He has no quarterback. Don't tell me Cam Newton's the quarterback in 2021. Don't tell me Jared Stidham's the quarterback in 2021 either. The quarterback for New England Patriots in 2021. And you think I am crazy. The quarterback for the New England Patriots in 2021 is going to be Justin Fields, and I'm going to explain to you why. I don't think they're getting Matthew Stafford. He's too injury prone. And I wouldn't even touch my hands on Carson Wentz. If you look at today's draft order, the Patriots are picking 14th. The Jaguars will take Trevor Lawrence at number 1. The Jets may not take Zach Wilson or Justin Fields at number 2. The only other team that will draft a quarterback before New England at number 14 is potentially the Carolina Panthers. And have Zach Wilson sit behind Teddy Bridgewater. Justin Fields is going to slip and fall right in Bill Belichick's lap. Justin Fields is going to slip and fall into the most perfect system a quarterback could be hopeful for. He's going to slip because of the Ohio State quarterback day with Dwayne Haskins and the Washington football team releasing him. I get all that. But let's not pretend that Justin Fields doesn't have talent. Because if he's coached by Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, he will succeed. But you better get him the right offensive weapons on the outside, or he will be a flop. You think I might be crazy, on the 31st of December today by saying Justin Fields will be a New England Patriot come April in the NFL draft. But no, it's not as crazy as you think it is with all these mock drafts happening and with all these quarterbacks that are going to be out on the market. And if I told you so, let me just say this. If I get that right, then you might as well go play the lottery or go win money on DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever else. But I'm telling you, don't say I didn't warn you that Justin Fields will be in New England come next April or May, whenever the NFL draft is being held. Because Bill Belichick needs his quarterback. They need a lot of help on their roster, and getting a franchise quarterback is a start. But if you're the Buffalo Bills, you're becoming like world beaters, and you are one of the favorites in the AFC this morning. Way to go, Buffalo. You're doing well with Josh Allen. You have a chance to knock out the Miami Dolphins for the playoffs this weekend. And as for the New England Patriots, they probably don't give two bleeping rips about being the New York Jets because they probably want to draft higher. Oh, another thing. New England has all those draft picks. They have like 12, 13 picks this year. Don't you think they might trade a couple of those and try and trade up for Zach Wilson or Justin Fields? I say it's going to be Justin Fields because Wilson's going to be gone by then. But don't you think for 1 second Bill Belichick knows the bigger picture ahead? That's where I'm going with this here for the New England Patriots. So give credit to the Buffalo Bills where it's due. But this is more about, New England Patriots have bigger holes on their roster than the Buffalo Bills do. So Josh Allen completed 27 of 36 passes for 320 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also rushed for 35 yards on 4 carries. Zach Moss, 57 yards rushing on 12 carries and a touchdown. Devin Singletary, 36 yards rushing on 10 carries, 2 for 16 receiving. Stephon Diggs, what an acquisition he's been for the Minnesota Vikings. 9 for 145 and 3 touchdowns. And let me just say this. The Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs connection, the RPR of the Buffalo Bills, it's just on top, on point all season long. It is the best chemistry that I have seen since Tom Brady and Randy Moss, and it was only for 1 year. Yeah, I know New England Patriots fans are going to be on me because they didn't win the Super Bowl that year. Okay, I get it. But this is probably the best receiver quarterback tandem in the league. And good news for Buffalo Bills fans is that they will have fans in the stands for the playoffs, and so will the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, moving on with the statistics. Dawson Knox, 3 for 51. Gabriel Davis, 3 for 33. I like him. He's coming along. Lee Smith, 2 for 31. Touchdown. He's a big guy. I mean, I thought he was an offensive lineman until I saw number 85. He's like, nope, not an offensive lineman. And then Isaiah McKenzie, 4 for 26. 5 yards touchdown, 2 carries. Cole Beasley, 3 for 17. Ciron Neal, 1 for 13. Andre Roberts, 2 for 12. Jared Stidham, 4 of 11 for 44 yards. Cam Newton, 5 of 10 for 34 yards. Yeah, they're not cutting it. He also rushed for 24 yards on 4 carries and a touchdown. Sonny Michel rushed for 69 yards on 10 carries. J.J. Taylor rushed for 38 yards on 6 carries. James White, 14 yards rushing on 4 carries. 3 for 23 receiving. Jacoby Myers, 4 for 45. That's the best you could do if you're New England. And now, N'Keal Harry, 1 for 3. We'll talk about a bust. They can't seem to scout wide receivers. Maybe trade for Julio Jones, the Atlanta Falcons, or try and get Allen Robinson, the Chicago Bears. Who in the high seas knows what's going to happen to New England Patriots this offseason? So now let me get into my next segment. I was going to talk about maybe DraftKings or FanDuel, but I'll save that for another day. NHL bold predictions for the 2020-2021 NHL season. Yes, I know the NHL season has snuck up on us, but here we are. So training camp begins on January 3rd, and the regular season begins on January 13th. Eastern Conference, and I know the divisions are messed up, so here we go. Boston Bruins bold prediction. They will miss the playoffs because of injuries to David Pastrnak and Brad Marchand, and also the departure of Captain Zdeno Chara to Washington Capitals. Patrice Bergeron's probably going to wear the captain this year. So Boston's not making the playoffs this year after winning the President's Trophy last year. Buffalo Sabres bold prediction. Jack Eichel and Taylor Hall experiment will be an absolutely complete failure, and I could see Eichel being traded and Hall going elsewhere after this season. The Florida Panthers. Sergei Bobrovsky returns to his form and becomes a top 3 goalie in the NHL. I still don't think they make the playoffs, but he could start very well be a top 3 goalie. Tampa Bay Lightning. They will steamroll everybody and be the best team in their division. Even though you don't have Nikita Kucherov, you still got Steven Stamkos, Braden Point. The list goes on and on. Victor Hedman, Andrei Vasilevsky. They're still the best team probably in the NHL at least. Montreal Canadiens. Carey Price will win another Vezina Trophy. The Ottawa Senators. Now, this is going to be a young, fascinating team to watch this year. I don't know if it's going to result in many wins because of how tough the Canadian division is, but here we go. Tim Stutzel wins the Rookie of the Year award. Now I know you got Alexis Lafreniere of the New York Rangers and Quentin Byfield of the Los Angeles Kings. And I haven't known much information about Stutzel. I'm like, I don't know much about this guy. I'm like, oh, this guy's really good. And this Ottawa team, along with Brady Tkachuk, they're going to get better. They're young. They know how to scout, evaluate talent. Because they've been rebuilding ever since they lost to the 2017 Eastern Conference Finals to the Pittsburgh Penguins. You trade Erik Karlsson, you get rid of J.G. Pageau, you get rid of all these guys. And now the rebuild, I think, is going to flourish sooner rather than later for the Ottawa Senators. Toronto Maple Leafs. Austin Matthews will win the Rocket Richard Trophy. Detroit Red Wings. They will also be one of the worst teams in the NHL once again this season. Surprise, surprise. Washington Capitals. Ilya Samsonov will struggle, and they will have to find a goalie at the trade deadline because of Henrik Lundqvist's absence. And Henrik Lundqvist, I mean, really, has to go for open heart surgery, and we wish him nothing but the best. And it's a shame he can't play, but health is more important than sports and all this playing games in the NHL, so we're with you, Henrik. Pittsburgh Penguins bold prediction. They make one final deep playoff run in the Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Chris Letang era before a rebuild begins. New York Rangers. Alexis Lafreniere will lead the team in goals. New York Islanders. Matthew Barzal is a finalist for the Hart Trophy. New Jersey Devils. Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes each both take jumps in their respective games this season and each score 20 goals and record 20 assists. Philadelphia Flyers. Carter Hart will be a finalist for the Vezina Trophy. Columbus Blue Jackets. Elvis Merzlikins will outplay Jonas Korpisalo in the season. Carolina Hurricanes. Sebastian Aho will score 40 goals this season. Also, the Carolina Hurricanes get back to the conference finals. Now the Western Conference teams. And I know the divisions are mishmash. I'm just going by East and West. I'm not really giving the division realignment not too much into any thought here, but I'm obviously going to have to do that when I do my NHL preview sometime next week. Okay, San Jose Sharks. They will be the worst team in their newly aligned division this season. I think the Sharks got to be in full rebuild mode. Someone's going to call them about Logan Couture. I don't know. San Jose is going to want to give him up. Martin Jones, he hasn't really panned out much anymore after taking him to the Stanley Cup final. They were just in the Western Conference Finals. Aaron Dell's not the answer. The San Jose, I don't understand it. I think Peter DeBoer, the head coach last year, got a raw deal getting fired. I think it was a lack of talent. And yeah, you still got Evander Kane, but Erik Karlsson's contract and Brett Burns, they're getting older. I don't think the Sharks are that much of a good hockey team, to be honest. Anaheim Ducks. One of these days, I'm going to be right about this, but John Gibson will finally get exposed between the pipes this season. Listen, I've never been a fan of John Gibson from day one. I've always thought he's been a flop in the net. He's always made these lucky saves. And people think he's a top 5 goalie, and I just don't simply understand that. And I'll still defend they should have never got rid of Frederik Andersen. Yeah, I know that Andersen's had his playoff issues, but just tell me, let me just say, Andersen at least has been in the playoffs. Tell me last time Gibson led his team to the playoffs. That's what I thought. Arizona Coyotes, they will score the fewest amount of goals in the NHL this season and miss the playoffs. Los Angeles Kings, they will make it back to the playoffs this season with a younger squad coached by Todd McClellan, led by rookie Quinton Byfield and Govan Calvin Peterson, and I also expect goalie Jonathan Quick to potentially get traded. I know that contract has been tough to trade. They'll probably find a suitor sooner rather than later. Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid records 100 assists. Vancouver Canucks, Quinn Hughes wins the Norris Trophy. Calgary Flames, Matthew Tkachuk will lead the team in goals scored. Vegas Golden Knights, Alex Pietrangelo will lead the team in total points scored. Chicago Blackhawks, they will finish with the worst record in the NHL and launch to a rebuild. And also, here's what's key here. Captain Jonathan Toews may potentially be out for the 2020-2021 season due to a medical condition. And Toews, we are all with you. We pray that you get better. Nashville Predators, they will be a bottom 5 offense in the NHL this season in goals scored. Minnesota Wild, they will be much improved, but they will still miss the playoffs. The Winnipeg Jets will be a top 10 team when it comes to goals scored, but they will also give up the 10th most goals in the NHL as well here for the 2020-2021 regular season. Dallas Stars, Miro Heiskanen will lead the team in points scored. Colorado Avalanche, Nathan MacKinnon will lead the Colorado Avalanche to the Stanley Cup final potentially. And last one, St. Louis Blues. They will struggle to score goals this season, but they will still find a way to make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. And for you hockey gurus out there, Cody Jansen, I know you're a big NHL fan. Cody, I hope you like that. And JB Beck and whoever else is following and listening to this show right now. And Cody and Beck, I cannot thank you enough for all the hard work you guys put into this radio station and all the fun stuff we do on here. We are growing listeners, followers, and viewers. Please give us a follow on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. And this is the first of 3 I'll be saying this today. Use 12-ounce sports. All cash with deposit bonus up to $1,000 from my bookie. We are live on 12-ounce sports. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to get into 2 top 10 segments before I get into my NFL Week 17 scenarios and preview. Here's the first of the top 10. Top 10 sports moments in 2020. And then I will get into the top 10 sports moments to potentially look forward to in 2021. Number 10 of the sports moments in 2020. And I know this was not a very bright one. Rudy Gobert, the Utah Jazz, shuts down the sports world due to the coronavirus. It completely puts a halt into the sports world for a few months. You had the NHL bubble, NBA bubble. At least we were able to complete those seasons. But that was the shock around the world, and it shut everything down. The 9th best moment of 2020 in sports. Oscar Lindblom returns to the ice from cancer treatments for the Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah, I probably should have put this higher on my list. But the thought of it being in my top 10 is what counts. Because Oscar Lindblom is an inspiration to us all. He beat cancer. He's cancer-free. He rung the bell. He played in the playoffs. He played in 2 games. And now he hopes to be a force on Philadelphia in a potential Stanley Cup run this year. Number 8. The New York Mets get new ownership from the Wilpons, or should I say the coupons to Steve Cohen. This is a day for New York Mets fans they'll forever remember. Hopefully, there will be new new winning culture there in New York. Number 7, Tom Brady signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and leaves the New England Patriots dynasty with Bill Belichick. Tom Brady, you know who won that divorce. I don't need to tell you. You watch the games. Brady won that divorce over Belichick easily. Number 6, Los Angeles Dodgers win the World Series. After all the playoff heartache and all the playoff failures, they finally win a World Series title. You go get Mookie Betts for the Boston Red Sox. Yeah, I know you got David Price. He opted out of the season. But yeah, Walker Buehler, Cody Bellinger. That team was just simply loaded. Clayton Kershaw. Number 5, Derrick Henry stiff arms against opponents when running with the football for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, you see his highlight tapes every time he stiff arms people? This guy is just a treat and a pleasure to watch running the football every single week. Derrick Henry is going to be the reason why the Tennessee Titans make another deep playoff run. The heartbeat and soul of the Tennessee Titans. You also got Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, just a loaded team. Number 4, LeBron James wins his 4th NBA title with the Los Angeles Lakers. Number 3, Patrick Mahomes. Holmes' crazy year for the Kansas City Chiefs. Wins an MVP. Potentially might win the MVP, but it's going to go to Aaron Rodgers. Super Bowl MVP, wins the Super Bowl, is going to get married. His wife is expected. I mean, it was a great year for Patrick Mahomes. So let me just say this quickly. 2020 seemed to be a rough year for everyone. But not Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be like the only one that is going to miss this year. You know what we call those people? Not human. We call them robots. But Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this year. Number 2, being right about the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup title. I'm still not going to get over that, how right I was, and I sensed it from a mile away. They pull a University of Virginia story, and the Tampa Bay Lightning do it themselves. The number 1 story in 2020 is an obvious one. Alex Smith of the Washington football team returning, and it's even a miracle that he even stepped onto the football field. And if he plays on Sunday, they have a potential chance to win the division against the Philadelphia Eagles. If that ain't your number 1 story in 2020 in sports, I don't know what to say. Let me just leave it at that. Now, Michael Carvallis, and for everyone else wanting to find out now the top 10 sports moments to potentially look forward to in 2021, here you go. Number 10. Can the New York Yankees finally win another World Series title after the Los Angeles Dodgers took down the Tampa Bay Rays in 6 games last season? Yankees have had all sorts of playoff failures. They have not won the World Series since 2009 against the Philadelphia Phillies in 6 games. Number 9. Will Paul George be able to redeem himself from being Pandemic Pete for the Los Angeles Clippers? Y'all think I'm crazy with this one, but you pay this man 5 years, $226 million contract extension. You better deliver a championship to Los Angeles. Not the big shot title town with the Lakers, but if you're the Clippers, you want a championship. Leonard's got 2, Kawhi Leonard. He doesn't need to prove anything. One with the Toronto Raptors, San Antonio Spurs. Number 8. Will it be Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl? I still have my doubts about that one. I'm not sure if it's going to happen. The NFL wants it to happen for money reasons, but I'm not so sure if it's going to happen. Number 7. Can Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill carry the Tennessee Titans to a Super Bowl title? Well, you usually don't rely on running games to get you to a Super Bowl. Best running team in the NFL. Tannehill is really good off of play action to A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, and Jonnu Smith. So, Arthur Smith, one of the best offense coordinators in the league. It's just a matter of how good their defense plays. Number 6, Kevin Durant. Will Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Karis LeVert, and the Brooklyn Nets be able to dethrone LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kyle Kuzma, and the Los Angeles Lakers in the 2021 NBA Finals. Number 5, can Nathan McKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche shatter records if they get back to the Stanley Cup playoffs and break Wayne Gretzky's old playoff records back in his days with the Edmonton Oilers? McKinnon threw 2 rounds last year was shattering Gretzky's records. Had the Avalanche moved on to a conference finals, let alone a Stanley Cup final, that would have been very interesting. Number 4, will the Tampa Bay Lightning go back-to-back in a Stanley Cup? Remains to be seen. I'll let you all know that answer next week. Number 3, the San Diego Padres Baseball Club and team, and it is also known as the Slam Diego Padres. Fun team to watch. Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, Eric Hosmer, Will Myers. Also, you just traded for Blake Snell. The Tampa Bay Rays gave up a ton of prospects. And now you're also going to get Yu Darvish, and New York Mets owner Steve Cohen said to his fans, give San Diego credit for what it's done. We need to replenish our farm system. San Diego is a great farm system. This was the first time they made the playoffs since 2006. And now they're all in for a World Series or bust. Number 2, is Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles done? Or does he need a change of scenery and need to unite with Frank Reich of the Indianapolis Colts? Reich was the offense coordinator when Wentz had his close to his MVP campaign season, and Reich and Wentz got that special bond. I don't think Wentz and Doug Peterson may work. I personally think Carson Wentz is no goods, but Wentz and Reich may be able to figure it out, and especially if Phillip Rivers decides to retire, and also Jacoby Brissett's money will be off the book, so Wentz's contract with Rivers and Brissett might be a wash. Number 1, and this might be surprising. You're not going to believe what I'm about to say. If the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl, how much money will Buffalo Bills fans give to Josh Allen's charity? That's my number 1 sports storyline of 2021 to look forward to. If the Buffalo Bills, because of Josh Allen, win the Super Bowl, how much money are they going to give to his charity? Because you know they already give a lot to his charity. Just imagine the shatter record numbers that might happen. And there was once a thing that someone said on Twitter, if the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl and donate all this money, maybe they'll find a cure for cancer. One can only hope, right? Who in the high seas knows? That's wishful thinking. But I hope that would actually be the case one day. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now finally on to the Week 17 playoff scenarios. But before I could get into the Week 17 NFL playoff scenarios, use promo code 12OunceSports, all caps, and deposit bonus up to $1,000 for my booking. We are live. So here are the playoff scenarios for Week 17. Baltimore Ravens, they get in with a win or a Cleveland loss or an Indianapolis loss. Cleveland Browns get in with a win or an Indianapolis loss or a Tennessee loss plus Miami win or tie plus Baltimore win or tie. Indianapolis wins the AFC South with an Indy win and Tennessee loss or tie. Or Indy tie and Tennessee loss. Indy gets to the playoffs with a win and a Baltimore loss, a win and a Cleveland loss, or an Indy win and a Miami loss. Dolphins get in with a win or Baltimore loss or Cleveland loss or Indy loss. Tennessee Titans get in, win the AFC South with a win or Indy loss. Clinches a playoff spot with Baltimore loss or Miami loss or Tennessee tie and Cleveland loss. Cardinals get in with a win or Arizona tie and Chicago loss. So the Bears, they get in with a win or Arizona loss. Dallas Cowboys wins NFC East with a win and Washington loss or Dallas tie Washington loss. Green Bay first round bye with a win or tie or Seattle loss or tie. Rams get in the playoffs with a win or tie or Chicago loss or tie. Saints clinch the first round bye with a win and a Green Bay loss and a Seattle win. Giants win the NFC East with a win and a Washington loss. Seattle clinches first bye with a win and a Green Bay loss and a New Orleans loss or tie. Washington gets in the playoffs with and they win the NFC East with a win or a Washington tie and Dallas loss or tie. Ladies and gentlemen, Week 17 NFL preview. This is the final week of the 2020 NFL regular season. Who would have thought we would have made it to this point in the regular season? My record last week was 10-6. My record so far this season is 155-85-1. Game of the week. Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. Both of these football teams have a lot on the line in the AFC East showdown. With a win and victory, the Miami Dolphins will be in the playoffs, and with the loss, they will most likely be out of the playoffs unless they get some help. The Buffalo Bills will get the number 2 seed in the AFC with a win and a victory, or a Pittsburgh Steelers loss to Cleveland Browns. Tua Tagovailoa will need to show massive strides in this football game because Ryan Fitzpatrick can't bail him out forever. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs will look to keep the connection going. Brian Flores and Sean McDermott are two of the better coaches in the NFL. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. Will take down a pesky Miami Dolphins football team by a final score of 24-21. Upset special of the week, Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. The Green Bay Packers are playing for the number 1 seed, but the Chicago Bears might be the hottest team in the NFC right now. Aaron Rodgers is playing very good football, and he's probably going to win the MVP award. But so is Mitchell Trubisky. He's played well in the last 4 games. Chicago has scored 30-plus points in each of its last 4 games, and it's happened for the first time since 1965. That is the last time the Chicago Bears have scored 30-plus points in its last 4 games. They have an identity, run the football with David Montgomery, set play action up for Mitchell Trubisky. So, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Devontae Adams will be Green Bay's top offensive weapons. David Montgomery, Allen Robinson II, Darnell Mooney will be Chicago's top targets. Matt LaFleur has done a very good job running the ship this season, but Matt Nagy has done the same as of late. The Bears' defense, led by Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith, will make it physical and tough for the Packers' offense. Za'Darius Smith and Preston Smith will be rough for Green Bay's defense and tough for the Chicago Bears' offensive line. However, the Chicago Bears will upset the Green Bay Packers and slow them down by a final score of 30-22. Blowout of the week. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be starting Mason Rudolph over Ben Roethlisberger this weekend. Myles Garrett can't wait to wreck Rudolph's day once again for the Cleveland Browns. Remember the whack-a-mole game last year? He took the helmet. Oh, and you know what? If I have to hear it from Steelers fans, oh boy, I made the joke about deactivating Twitter, but I would never do that in a million years. I'm just saying. I would never hear the end of it from Steelers fans. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be starting Mason Rudolph over Ben Roethlisberger. Myles Garrett can't wait to wreck Mason Rudolph's day once again for the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland wins, and they are in the playoffs for the first time since 2002. But the only thing that is preventing them potentially from the playoffs is the coronavirus. And Browns fans are already in a frenzy this morning, and they're already panicking about it. And only this would happen to the stinking Cleveland Browns. Only to them this would happen. Tennessee Titans, it happened to them early in the year. Happened to Baltimore Ravens early in the year. Oh, Cleveland Browns, right on timing. The mistake by the lake never fails. Sorry, Browns fans. But I still think you're going to win the game anyway because I think you're going to get your wide receivers back this week. And yeah, it's going to be a heavy dosage Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And then you got Baker Mayfield. You're hoping to get Jarvis Landry, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Rashard Higgins back. You also got Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, Ben Roethlisberger, Marquise Pouncey out this weekend for the Steelers. And maybe Chase Claypool and James Washington could see an increased role at wide receiver for Pittsburgh. I'm not going to probably see much action from Juju Smith-Schuster or Deontay Johnson. Maybe they'll sit out this one as well. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns will blow out the Pittsburgh Steelers by a final score of 34-10. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Atlanta Falcons will look to win their final game of the regular season. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will look to tune up for the postseason. Tom Brady and Mike Evans will look to be on point as well here. Matt Ryan and Calvin Ridley will look to make noise in the final game together this regular season, and the future is uncertain in Atlanta compared to Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will take down the Atlanta Falcons by a final score of 40-23. Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. Just whenever you think the Dallas Cowboys are going to potentially make it to the playoffs, let me say this. There's an accident waiting to happen this weekend with the Dallas Cowboys. They're on the verge of potentially winning the NFC East. And now the pressure mounts on the Dallas Cowboys. And when the pressure is up high for Dallas, it always comes crumbling down. The Dallas Cowboys, once again, are giving false hope to their fans. And it's gonna make them go crazy. The Dallas Cowboys with the division on the line in Week 17. It never goes well for Dallas. You remember 3 straight years against Washington and Philadelphia? That's at least 2 times. I thought it was 3, but it's 2. But it's... Oh, and also the Giants in 2011. I was right. It was 3 times. So, the Cowboys in Week 17 are an accident waiting to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, do not say I didn't warn you. Because I'm telling you, Cowboys fans are going to be let down this weekend. And don't say I didn't warn you so. And I know they have far superior offensive talent than the New York Giants. I'm not that blinded. But if Vegas is saying the New York Giants are 2.5-point favorites this weekend, what does that tell you? Number 1, the Giants have won both of their NFC East games at home. Number 2, they think New York's defense is better than Dallas's defense is. And number 3, Vegas thinks Daniel Jones is healthy enough to move his legs and move the chains. That's what they think this comes down to. That's what Vegas thinks this comes down to. And Andy Dalton might show up. Oh, and Ezekiel Elliott has also had fumble problems. So, even if the New York Giants do not make the playoffs, they need this win. And the sister moving in the right direction need a culture change. That's what the New York Giants need. If you like the New York Giants, do not root for them to lose and do not root for better draft positioning. You have to knock out at least the Dallas Cowboys from playoff contention. If you do that, you're saying, okay, we're trending in the right direction. Do not say losing is okay this weekend. Just simply don't do it. So, it will be Andy Dalton versus Daniel Jones and Mike McCarthy versus Joe Judge. And the winner in this game wins the NFC East, or at least if Washington loses Philadelphia. And I'm taking, and also the last time these two teams played with the division on the line was back in 2011. And I'm taking the New York Giants to take down the Dallas Cowboys by a final score of 30-27. New York Jets versus New England Patriots. Both of these teams probably couldn't care less about this football game. The New York Jets have actually looked better than the New England Patriots on the offensive side of the ball as of late. New York and Sam Darnold and Adam Gase will potentially be there for the final time. New England might start Jared Stidham in Week 17 over Cam Newton. The Patriots will look to get better draft positioning And the Jets can get the number 1 overall pick because of the Jacksonville Jaguars claiming it last weekend. The New York Jets will take down the New England Patriots by a final score of 30-24. Minnesota Vikings versus the Detroit Lions. This is also another meaningless game for both of these football teams. They just want to play for pride at this point. The Minnesota Vikings are by far a better football team than the Detroit Lions. At least Minnesota has a decent product, unlike Detroit. The future is uncertain for Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer and Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford. Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, and Ernst Smith Jr. will be balling and scoring in bunches on offense. The Detroit Lions will be an embarrassment on offense this weekend. DeAndre Swift, Adrian Peterson, TJ Hawkinson, and others. I just don't think it's going to be working out, and it's going to be embarrassing as well here. David Blow or Chase Daniel will get the start for Detroit if Matthew Stafford cannot play in this football game. The Minnesota Vikings will crush the Detroit Lions by a final score of 37-15. The Baltimore Ravens versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Baltimore Ravens will hope to avoid what happened a few years ago against the Cincinnati Bengals. Baltimore needed a win against Cincinnati to get into the playoffs and lost. Can the Bengals play spoiler on the Ravens once again? It remains to be seen as well here. I thought about it deeply, and it's really hard to choose the Cincinnati Bengals in an upset this weekend over the Baltimore Ravens. But if it does really happen, then Cincinnati will be turning the corner as a franchise heading into 2021. Brandon Allen will look to outdo Lamar Jackson, but John Harbaugh's squad wants to get this football game done and over with in order to get into the playoffs. Zach Taylor wants another signature win on his resume. The Baltimore Ravens will take down the Cincinnati Bengals by a final score of 34-31. The Seattle Seahawks versus the San Francisco 49ers. The Seattle Seahawks still have a chance at the number 1 seed in the NFC. The San Francisco 49ers will look to play for pride in the final game of the 2020 NFL regular season and will go with C.J. Beathard at quarterback. Josh Rosen will be the backup. George Kittle will look to frustrate Seattle's much improved defense. Russell Wilson will look to sling it to DK Metcalf early and often. The Seattle Seahawks will win a tough contested game on the road against the San Francisco 49ers by a final score of 27-24. Arizona Cardinals versus the Los Angeles Rams. If Kyler Murray can't go for the Arizona Cardinals, since Jared Goff is already out with a thumb injury, he had to get surgery on it for the Los Angeles Rams. The quarterback matchup would feature John Wolford and Chris Streveler. At the end of the day, Budda Baker and the Arizona Cardinals defense cannot carry them to a victory, unlike Aaron Donald and the Los Angeles Rams defense. Sean McVay will outcoach Cliff Kingsbury for all 4 quarters, and Los Angeles will be back in the playoffs. The Los Angeles Rams will take down the Arizona Cardinals by a final score of 23-20. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts will be without a key offensive lineman, Anthony Castanozo, and he is done for the season. The Jacksonville Jaguars' only win this season came against Indianapolis back in Week 1. Jacksonville could potentially play spoilers here. Indianapolis needs a win and also get some help in order to get in the playoffs. Could this be Philip Rivers' last season with the Colts and potentially his last game? Mike Glennon will look to be the spoilers for the Jaguars. I will take the Indianapolis Colts, and Frank Reich's bunch will take down the Jacksonville Jaguars and Doug Marrone's bunch by a final score of 40-15. Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans. The Tennessee Titans will be happy that they are not playing in snow. Derrick Henry will potentially run all over the Houston Texans. this will be the final game potentially for J.J. Watt in Houston. This team will roll over despite his speech in the postgame last weekend after a loss against the Cincinnati Bengals. Deshaun Watson will also roll over, as in I don't think he's going to play very well. Ryan Tannehill will throw it all day long. Expect A.J. Brown and Corey Davis to bounce back this week along with Derrick Henry. The Tennessee Titans will take down the Houston Texans easily by a final score of 41-20. The Las Vegas Raiders versus the Denver Broncos. The Las Vegas Raiders have been on the downward spiral. The Denver Broncos, for some strange reason, I feel like will be playing for more pride than Vegas will. Vic Fangio will be staying for another season with Denver, and John Gruden shouldn't for Vegas. Derek Carr will get outplayed by Drew Lock. The Broncos' defense is also better than the Raiders' defenses currently. The Denver Broncos will take down the Las Vegas Raiders by a final score of 27-24. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert will be playing for pride. The Kansas City Chiefs will be resting key players like Patrick Mahomes because they already have a bye week locked up. Andy Reid will just throw out the game film, and so will Anthony Lynn. Henny's going to be starting for Kansas City, and the Los Angeles Chargers will take down the Kansas City Chiefs by a final score of 27-20.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Okay, I'm back. So, next game, the New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers. The New Orleans Saints are still alive for the number 1 seed in the NFC. It'll depend and see how things bounce on Sunday. The Carolina Panthers want to win their final game of the regular season for Teddy Bridgewater and head coach Matt Rule. Drew Brees and Sean Payton see the bigger picture ahead for New Orleans compared to Carolina. The Panthers are making growth strides, but they are not there just yet. Christian McCaffrey will most likely not play again on Sunday, and it will be Mike Davis, Alvin Kamara. It will be Mike Davis for Carolina, Alvin Kamara, and Latavius Murray for New Orleans, and and Kamara finished with 6 touchdowns last week against the Vikings. And the New Orleans Saints will take down the Carolina Panthers by a final score of 30-20, and Kamara with 6 touchdowns on Christmas Day. And against Minnesota Vikings, I'll take New Orleans Saints. Take down the Carolina Panthers by a final score of 30-20. The Washington football team versus the Philadelphia Eagles. If the Washington football team wins this football game, they'll win the NFC East. If not, the winner, the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants game will be Alex Smith versus Jalen Hurts, or it could be Taylor Heineke versus Jalen Hurts. Don't expect Carson Wentz for Philadelphia in this football game. Dwayne Haskins was cut by Washington this weekend, and he did beat Carson Wentz back in Week 1. Chase Young and Montez Sweat will look to outduel Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham on the defensive line. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to pull off a shocker and an upset in this one, even though it isn't my upset special of the week over the Washington football team by a final score of 23-14. So, bold predictions. Number 1, Daniel Jones will outplay Andy Dalton for the New York Giants over the Dallas Cowboys. Number 2, Chase Young will score a defensive touchdown for the Washington football team. Number 3, Ryan Tannehill throws for 440 yards and 4 touchdowns. Number 4, Tua Tagovailoa throws for more yards than Josh Allen. And number 5, Justin Herbert throws for 5 or 6 touchdowns in the Los Angeles Chargers versus Kansas City Chiefs football game also. So now here are my top 10 teams heading into the final week of the regular season. Let's start with number 10. Let's start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, and a talented defense with Bruce Arians. And I think they're a pretty good team. Number 9, the Miami Dolphins. Pretty good on defense. Pretty decent on offense. One of the top defenses in the NFL, well coached by Brian Flores. Number 8, the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, Marlon Humphrey. This team is talented. They're getting hot at the right time. It's tough to stop the running game, the rushing attack with J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. The list goes on and on with the Baltimore Ravens. They don't have weapons in the passing game that scare you like Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews, but you still have to respect them, and Dez Bryant is coming along. Number 7, the Tennessee Titans. I always say, well coached by Mike Vrabel, the defense is a question, but Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, and the list goes on and on. Number 6, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I knew I had them out last week. I thought you were going to lose the Indianapolis Colts, but put them in because of Ben Roethlisberger's ability to change up plays in the second half. Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool, and they're loaded on offense. They don't have a running game, but they're also led by T.J. Watt on defense. Number 5, the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson. They win the NFC West title for the 5th time in 11 years under Pete Carroll. They have an effective running game with Chris Carson, Rashard Penny, Carlos Hyde, DK Metcalf, David Moore, Tyler Lockett, Jacob Hollister, tight end. The defense is coming along with Jamal Adams and Carlos Dunlap. And Jordan Brooks, a rookie, who I criticized. Well, I gave that grade of a C when the draft happened, but he's actually playing better, so they must have known something when they were drafting him, the rookie out of Texas Tech. Number 4, the New Orleans Saints. Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees. Michael Thomas will probably be back. Emmanuel Sanders, Jared Cook. Well coached by Sean Payton, Demario Davis, Cameron Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore. The defense is very physical. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers. Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones. Now add A.J. Dillon to the mix at running back. And the defense is good enough to win them the Super Bowl. It's not flashy. It's not a sexy defense, but it's a flashy. Oh, gosh. I'm bringing Sexy back by Justin Timberlake here on New Year's Eve. Jeez, the Green Bay Packers. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, a good enough defense, but the question with them is their running game. Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs and the surprise. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, and that Anthony Sorensen. They have a good enough defense to help them win the Super Bowl once again. So my top 10 teams heading into the final week of the NFL season. Number 10, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 9, the Miami Dolphins. Number 8, the Baltimore Ravens. Number 7, the Tennessee Titans. Number 6, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 5, the Seattle Seahawks. Number 4, the New Orleans Saints. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers. Number 2, the Buffalo Bills. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. So that was my top 10 segment heading into week 17. So let me talk about the last thing. Okay. So what I just said to you, who wins and who loses, is what I think is gonna happen. So this is what the matchups are gonna be heading to Wild Card Weekend. AFC, number 7 Cleveland Browns versus number 2 Buffalo Bills. Number 6 seed No, sorry. Number 7 seed Indianapolis Colts versus number 2 seed Buffalo Bills. Number 6 seed Cleveland Browns versus number 3 seed Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 5 seed Baltimore Ravens versus number 4 seed Tennessee Titans. NFC. Oh, and the 1 seed will be Kansas City. Number 1 seed the NFC is going to be the New Orleans Saints because I think it's going to be a 3-way tie. Number 7 seed Chicago Bears versus number 2 seed Seattle Seahawks. Number 6 seed Los Angeles Rams versus number 3 seed Green Bay Packers. And number 5 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus number 4 seed New York Giants. This is what I have this weekend. So, now I'm going to get into my next segment with this. What times will the games be? Let's go with Tampa Bay New York Giants, 1 p.m. That's Saturday. Let's go with Indianapolis Buffalo, 4:30 p.m. That's Saturday. What will be prime time that Saturday? Let's go Baltimore Ravens, Tennessee Titans. So let's go Tampa Bay, New York on ESPN, ABC. Let's go Indianapolis, Buffalo Saturday. Let's go NBC. Let's go Baltimore, Tennessee, 8 p.m. CBS. Let's do that. Now what about Sunday? Let's go Rams, Packers, 1 p.m. on Fox. Let's go with that. Let's go Cleveland, Pittsburgh, 4:30 p.m. Sunday CBS. And then, let's go 8:20, 8:21 Sunday night on NBC with the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. So that's what I think the playoff schedule, what we're going to see for Wild Card Week. And that's how I think things are going to shape out. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of time here. Thanks for tuning in to my final show of 2020. I cannot appreciate the year that we all went through together. We somehow made it. And ladies and gentlemen, come Monday morning, we will be in 2021. I'll recap Week 17 of the NFL, and I'm going to have all other NFL topics, firings, coaches, general managers, amongst other things. Give yourself a round of applause for making it through this horrible year, 2020. Give yourselves a round of applause. Really. On to 2021 and bigger and better things, baby. Let's keep this radio station going. I'm so happy the year is over. I am so happy this year is finally over. Use promo code 12Ounce Sports, all cash deposit bonus, up to $1,000 for my bookie. Ladies and gentlemen, have as much drinks as you want tonight. Party it up. I don't care how you do it. Say goodbye to 2020. It's out of here. 2021 wins the ball game. Happy New Year, everybody. It's finally over. I'll see you all on 2021 on the other side. I hope to be back on Monday. Be safe, everybody.
Are you ready for the King of the Ice? Pete's Power Plays with Philly Pete starts now on 12-Ounce Sports.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Thursday, December 31st, 2020 episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only King of the Ice himself, Philly Pete. And we're live on 12-Ounce Sports and Zingo TV, channel 761. This show, Pete's Power Plays, as always, is sponsored by MyBookie.ag. Well, ladies and gentlemen, sports are back full time, as we know. And what better way to start cashing out large and getting that green in your pocket than mybookie.ag? When you sign up for mybookie.ag, make sure you use the promo code 12ounce sports. That's 12OZ sports, all caps, no spaces. When again you use mybookie.ag, they'll set you up with they'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. Simple as that. And always remember to gamble responsibly. Once again, mybookie.ag. Use the promo code 12ounce sports. That's 12OZ sports. They'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. And like I said, sports are back, ladies and gentlemen. Also, Zingo TV, channel 761. That's Zingo, channel 761. Those that are tuning in, welcome aboard to the last show of the new year for Philly Pete, for Pete's Power Plays. Those that don't have Zingo TV, I highly recommend you get it. It is a free app. Everyone loves free stuff nowadays. So what better way to start tuning into everybody's show on 12 Ounce Sports that we have than going to Zingo TV, channel 761. It's a free app. Download it on your smart TV or streaming app or streaming platform that you may have. Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, the whole Shazam. Even Google Chromecast has us as well. So make sure you download it. It's free. And tune in to channel 761. Use that promo code 12ounce, 12OZ. Once again, Zingo TV, channel 761. And last but not least, Amazon. We have a website out there for those that need to buy something. Please use our website. Like I said, we have the holidays. We have celebrations, some miscellaneous birthdays, whatever it may be, anniversaries. Go buy, start buying something today by going to www.12ouncesportsradio.com/Amazon. Once again, www.12ouncesportsradio.com/Amazon. So yesterday I talked a lot about NHL, the remaining North and West Division odd season point totals. So, I gave you all my predictions there, as you all saw yesterday. If you missed out on the last 2 days of my show, make sure you check it out on my Twitter. Of course, it's on my timeline. You can't miss it. Obviously, it's always on there. So, I also talked about the upcoming season as well. We had 5 games on tap for January 13th. 3 games included time slots. So, if the Flyers and Penguins at 5:30, you had the Lightning and Blackhawks at 8, and then you had the nightcap with the Blues and the Avalanche at 10:30. The 2 other games above, the Edmonton, Vancouver, and Montreal and Toronto games, are to be determined. But as far as we all know, there will be 5 games on opening night. Gave you all my over-unders. Again, it's subject to change because I will go back and talk about those games when we get into the season, probably the day or 2 days beforehand. I will get more in depth about those games big time. But for now, that's how it's going to stick. Let's get into today. Now, NHL futures, I'm going to talk more about this because I'm getting more and more volume about this. Eastern Conference 2020, 2021 Eastern Conference champion, and 2020, 2021 Western Conference champion. So, without further ado, let's get into this real quick. And, so Tampa Bay, I have a couple books up here, including William Hill. Bet365 is on here, covers, a couple others as well. But Tampa Bay, per William Hill, I usually use William Hill a lot. So William Hill, Tampa Bay Lightning, 4-1 is where they currently sit to win the Eastern Conference. 4-1 is Tampa. Boston at 6-1. All right. Still think that's too high for Boston. I just feel like they should be dropped down a little bit more than that. Philadelphia, 8-1. Washington also 8-1. So the Flyers and the Caps both at 8-1. The Leafs and the Penguins both at 9-1. I mean, I think that's some good value there with Toronto. I mean, 9-1, that's really, really good value there for this Maple Leafs team that I know a lot of people have futures on as well. I really do think Toronto takes a step forward this upcoming season. I mean, it's do or die time. I mean, really, when is going to be the next time a Canadian team wins the Stanley Cup Finals? And honestly, I think this might be the year. So we'll see what happens. We really, truly will see what happens here. But Toronto at 9-1, that's good. Again, Penguins at 9-1. Now you're going down a little bit more. You have a couple of 3-way ties here. You have the Hurricanes, Islanders, and Rangers, respectively, at 12-1. Again, that's some good value there as well. Carolina, another good team that I like as well. They have obviously a great team. They could have upgraded their goalie, but they kept what they had. Again, Sebastian Aho and the rest of the gang, they should be a good postseason team because they usually are. They were, 2 years ago, they beat Boston. They were just really, I'm sorry, they lost to Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. They were one series away from going to the Cup Finals. But again, I just think that this is a good Carolina team to look at. Some good value at 12-1. I really, really like that as well for Carolina. Islanders and the Rangers. I'm a big guy. I'm a big Islanders fan as well when it comes to this. 12-1, another great value, a little bang for your buck there. Again, this team hasn't lost anybody in the off season. I mean, really, they had the same exact squad. Obviously, they lost Thomas Greiss, of course. But honestly, when everything's said and done here, you sign Matt Bartzell, and this team is back to contenders again. I mean, they're really good. They're honestly really, really good. I know they lost Jonathan Toews as well. I mean, I'm sorry, the defenseman Toews, excuse me. But Islanders at 12-1 is a great opportunity out there for those that want to take some risk and future bets in terms of Eastern and Western Conference odds there. So at 12-1, I really like the Islanders as well. Rangers, again, that's a ticket where you can say yes or no to. But again, at 12-1 that's a really good value as well. So again, Carolina, Islanders, and the Rangers at 12-1. I would suggest maybe putting in some tickets on 2 of the 3 there. I really think so. It's again 12-1. It's a good bang for your buck there. Coming in at 20-1, you have Columbus and Montreal. Now again, we have futures on Montreal. Okay, I have a 50-1 ticket on Montreal. It has moved down to 34-1 on some books now. Actually, on most books now, 34, 35-1. I'm telling you, it's just going to creep and creep, and you're going to at some point. I'm telling you right now, Montreal is going to be like 30-1, maybe 25-1, 28-1. I'm telling you, like this is why I give out value tickets early on into the season, so everyone out there, including my clients, could lock these tickets in bright and early. So Columbus at 20-1, again, not a bad ticket. That's a good dark horse wild card team to come out of the East. I really like them. I like their over in points this year as well. I think they could do some damage in the postseason as well. Montreal, again, of course, 20-1. It's a good value play there as well. 20-1. I just feel like that's just, it's screaming for your money. I really think Montreal is going to be a great team this year. Honestly, the great acquisitions they got, including Toffoli, I really think that this Habs team is on something this upcoming season. Now you have at 25-1, you have Florida, Buffalo, and New Jersey. I don't really see much coming out of these teams at all. I mean, honestly, when it comes to Buffalo, Taylor Hall could have a great year, but he could easily be leaving Buffalo for a playoff contending team, 3 quarters out of the year when the deadline comes up. So I don't really see Florida and Buffalo contending that much. New Jersey could be sneaky this year. I would be on the lookout for them. That's why I like their over in total points this year for their division season points. Look out for that. But again, this is going to be a postseason team probably in at least the next 2 years. When they're more experienced. But again, my money is on the over total points for New Jersey, and then of course Ottawa and Detroit there. 50-1 for Ottawa, 75-1 for Detroit. Again, not a lot going there for those teams. So there you have it, unfortunately. All right, so that's the Eastern Conference odds as we speak up to the minute as of this morning. Now I'm heading to the Western Conference. Real quick, I'll give you guys a rundown before I take my commercial break. Colorado, you have 3-1. Vegas, 4-1. Okay, this is going to be neck and neck. We know that it's going to be neck and neck. It's Vegas at 2-1 for the division is good money, and 4-1 to win the West, to win the Western Conference. That's good as well. But again, I have my money on Colorado here. I really think that this team's going to go to the Stanley Cup. They're just so strong. Vegas is strong too. And I know they got Pietrangelo. So Colorado at 3-1, Vegas at 4-1. St. Louis and Dallas both at 8-1. You can't go wrong with Dallas here as well. Look what they did last year. They didn't lose anybody. 8-1 is good value for them. Edmonton at 9-1. And then you go down to Calgary, Nashville, and Vancouver, all three at 12-1. Again, my liking with Vancouver. 12-1 isn't bad there. I know they lost a couple players during the off season there, but I mean they keep Thatcher Demko, and hope to God that he comes through because he did in the postseason. It's tough. It's tough losing that number one starting goaltender. So you get Thatcher Demko in net now, and it's go big or go home for him, and of course the Canucks in general, because they lost to Foley as well. So they got them at 12-1. Winnipeg at 14-1. San Jose, Chicago 25-1. LA Kings, Anaheim 35-1. And then now I should have talked about this earlier, but Minnesota 25-1. Okay, again, I like their over in season total points this year as well. This is a sleeper as well. I have a ticket on them to win the Stanley Cup too. Just the value is there. When I talk about Stanley Cup futures and conference futures, you got to take value here. You really do. It's an awesome payout, and at 25-1, that's a really great number for Minnesota there. And then Arizona 25-1 as well. So there you go. A couple of eye poppers for me like usual. Nothing different here from what I liked previously when I talked about these Eastern Western Conference odds. And on that note, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I'll be back. I will talk NFL DFS for Sunday. I know fantasy championships are over, but those that still continue to play FanDuel or DraftKings, look out for your player locks for Sunday and position locks as well. So stay tuned. I'll be back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
At Amazon, we're pretty good at getting things done. We're pretty good at solving problems. COVID-19 is the biggest challenge we've had to face. But challenges are what motivate us. Like flying masks to our employees around the world. We're doing everything we can to get you what you need, and doing everything we can to keep our people safe. I'm former Navy pilot Sarah Rhodes, and I'm proud to lead our Amazon Air network.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for holding the fort for me when I was away. Welcome back to the Thursday, December 31st, 2020 episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only King of the Ice, Philly Pete. And we're live on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV channel 761. It is New Year's Eve, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe out there, whatever you guys may do or ladies may do. Be safe. There's obviously not much that we can do this year in terms of going out like we usually do. Having a great time with friends, but if you are going out, stay safe, always wear a mask, and enjoy yourselves. Obviously, a year that has been a crazy, crazy year for everybody. But of course, when everything's said and done here, we're all in this together. So again, be safe here tonight. Happy New Year. And let's get on with the second half of the show. So NFL DFS, we are on our last season, or last week of the regular season. And also those that signed up to be a VIP client of myself, a Philly Pete client. Welcome aboard. I will be taking care of you guys and ladies out there later on, those that signed up. Like I said, you will get my NFL DFS for, of course, Week 17 and all the playoffs. I give out playoff lineups as well, so that is included in your half-off discount. Today is the last day. Obviously, $250 for the entire year. That includes NHL season package, NHL playoffs, my Stanley Cup futures as well. Also, I'm giving my bonus. I'm giving my My season point total plays as well. I've been giving them out to my clients as we speak, so they are happy about that. And of course, my NFL DFS for FanDuel and DraftKings Week 17 lineup and all the playoffs. So that's a 5-6 package deal in one bundle right there. So, take advantage of it now. It's the last day. But like I said yesterday's show, I'll say it again. All right, for the entire NHL season, even after January 1st, I'm going to run it for the entire year, okay? Only for a total of $350 for the entire season. But that also includes the NHL season, okay? Obviously the NHL season, NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup futures, and my season totals for division season total points. So that's, again, 4-1 for only $350. The best deal that you're going to get on Twitter, I'm telling you right now, okay? And you're playing and you're being with one of the best, if not the best, on Twitter when it comes to NHL capping. You look at my units, okay? The record speaks for itself. It really does. So just, stay tuned to that. And again, $350 after January 1st. You get a 4-in-1 bundle. Again, NHL season package, NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup futures, and season point total plays as well. So can't beat the price there. And it's my way of giving back to everyone out there that has been giving me success, of course, in the last couple of years. So, and that's all that matters. So if it wasn't for you fans out there and clients, I wouldn't be here today. So moving on to the NFL DFS for Week 17. Player locks: Derrick Henry, Amari Cooper, and Darrell Williams. All right, I don't expect CEH to be playing this week. You really didn't get much of Le'Veon Bell this week either. So I think Darrell Williams will be a good step in for the Chiefs. Obviously, they're resting everybody. So Derrick Henry, Amari Cooper, and Darrell Williams should be your player locks for this upcoming Sunday on your fantasy football lineups for DraftKings and FanDuel. So by positions real quick, I'm only going to give you the top 5 before I talk about biggest questions for the NHL season. And starting real quick with the quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Brady, Watson, and Tannehill for quarterbacks. You have running back wise, you have Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, and Nick Chubb. Tight ends, you have George Kittle, Darren Waller, Logan Thomas, Mark Andrews, and Noah Fant. I would consider Irv Smith Jr. in there too, because he's been on a tear for Vikings out there, for the Vikings, for the Minnesota Vikings in general. And the receivers, I have Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, who you can't say no to anymore, Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley, and Mike Evans. Notable mention, Justin Jefferson as well. Against that depleted Detroit defense, I expect Thielen and Jefferson to have their share as long as Cousins could get them the ball. So there you have it. I'm not going to go over kickers and defense. So there's your top 5 in positions for your lineups that you should lock and load with. Now, NHL, the biggest question facing every NHL team in this upcoming season. I know I have 10 minutes left with you guys and ladies, so what I'll do is I'll make this quick and easy and basically understand, here we are. Here we are with the upcoming season. What do we have to talk about? So each team has a question. Anaheim Ducks, let's start with you. Will any of the young forwards take a step forward? All right, so any of those young kids, those young guys out there, will they take a step forward? Honestly, we're not really sure what the long-term plan is here. In Anaheim, it's not a contender by any means. We know that. But, they do not seem willing to commit on a rebuild. And the free agent addition, of course, of Shattenkirk is just another example of that. It just seems like they don't want to rebuild whatsoever. But they really need young forwards to step up. Including Max Jones, take a significant step forward this season and provide hope that some impact offensive players are already in the organization. So we'll see what happens. The Arizona Coyotes, where do they find the offense here? Of course, they lost their key addition. Obviously, went to Buffalo. How can we forget that already? So, Taylor Hall, that was the biggest offensive contributor to the Coyotes. But they had a legitimate number 1 defenseman, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He didn't go anywhere, even though everyone was saying he was going to go to Boston or Vancouver, including myself. But he's staying put, and they have 2 great goaltenders. The forward depth is thin, and there is not a game-changing forward anywhere in the group. So it's hard to see where the offense is going to come from on this squad. And honestly, they're going to have to look upon and hope to God that success comes around Antti Ranta and Darcy Kemper to keep the puck out of their own net. They're going to have to be the ones that are providing the help for this team because honestly, there's no offensive firepower at all on this Coyotes team. So there you have it there. Boston Bruins. Well, sayonara, good riddance. Just Zdeno Chara. It was a great run with Boston. Obviously, we know he is heading out of Boston, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Simple as that. And now he's heading to Washington. He is a Capital now, and that's going to be a big, big help to Ovechkin. He's got a little bit left in the tank. What can I say? He still does. He's a big guy. Give him a couple years left, I would have to say. But again, Zdeno Chara is just an absolute monster. So he's going to help out that Caps team big time. And of course, Boston is going to miss them. So I wonder how Boston defensively is going to shake up after their biggest asset of the last decade, even longer, decade and a half, is going to be. It's crazy to think that he's on a different team. It's like Tom Brady going to Tampa. He was always a Patriot, just like Zdeno Chara. He was always a Bruin. Now he's a Cap. It's crazy. But do they still need more help on defense? Well, the addition of Craig Smith makes an already deep forward group just that much deeper, while an outstanding goalie duo with Tuukka Rask and Halak. The big concern here is the blue line following the free agent departure of Krug. Of course, that's just a big, big departure. He was going to St. Louis. Of course, Krug is now a Blue. But Charlie McAvoy, he's going to be the shiner for that team. A significant drop-off in talent after him, that's really it. But this is why, to me, I still don't understand why this team is so up high when it comes to odds. I'm not sure what Vegas is seeing. I'm seeing it differently. I know a lot of you out there are also seeing it differently as well. But it's a big drop-off talent-wise after McAvoy. The defense is the clear weakness, obviously, with the departure of Chara. But again, it remains surprising that they did not make more of an effort to re-sign Krug. I thought that he was going to stay in Boston, but they let him go. Not even like a peep from Boston trying to match it up, but they didn't do it. So that's Boston's fault there. So we will see where that team leads into the upcoming season. Buffalo Sabres with the addition of Taylor Hall. Will the playoff drought continue? Well, listen, it's been 9 years since the Sabres made the Stanley Cup Finals, and nobody wants to see that streak reach a full decade. It's hard to see how it will not. Obviously, we got Taylor Hall, you got Eric Stahl as well. This team still has plenty of flaws at the bottom of the lineup, especially in net. Besides, Hall and Stahl are only one-year contracts as well. And like I said, I'll keep saying this. This was a bold statement that I mentioned weeks ago when Hall, when Hall went to the Sabres. Hall will not be a Sabre when it comes to the postseason push. Okay, I think Buffalo will be out of contention. I think Hall would want to be on a contender, and I'm hoping by then, hey, maybe unless if Buffalo goes crazy and hit between him and Eichel and Stahl, maybe they build this squad and they do end up going to the postseason. But again, I can't believe it until I see it again. It's been 9 years. Buffalo fans don't want it to be a full decade without the Sabres in the playoffs. But again, these are one-year contracts. Combine that with the fact that they're playing with the toughest division in the league this season. It just, honestly, it seems like it's another year without the playoffs. I hate to say it, but it looks like year 10 on the road is coming by, and it's passing Buffalo as we speak. So, I really think that Buffalo might just, I don't think they're going to make it. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, and I truly think my bold statement, Hall is going to be out. Hall is going to go to a playoff contending team when the trade deadline comes. Simple as that. Calgary Flames. All right, I'm not going to get to all these today, unfortunately, but I will talk about the rest on Tuesday of 2021. So, but I will get to all these when I can. I'll try and get a couple in real quick. Calgary Flames. Will Jacob Markstrom solve their goalie issue? Well, the Flames want a long-term solution in goal, and they did. You got Jacob Markstrom, the ex-Vancouver Canuck. On one hand, he's been very good, very durable, and he's been a great goalie over the past 4 years. And if he can maintain the level of play, he's going to be a great addition for the Calgary Flames on top of what they already have. But again, the 6-year contract and salary cap hit combined with his age could make an issue in upcoming seasons. So a short-term win followed by a long-term concern. That's something you got to think about the Calgary Flames here. But all in all, I really think the Flames here are a postseason team. It's their time. I mean, they're eventually you're going to see this team. I'm a big Gaudreau fan. He is a hometown guy. I think he lives about 15, 20 minutes away from me. I'm in the Glassboro, New Jersey region, and he is from Glassboro as well. So it's always nice to see him. His hockey rink is literally right around the corner from my house. So it's always nice to see him, when he is there in the summer seasons. Carolina Hurricanes. Now, this is another question about goaltending. Is it good enough? That is a yearly question with Carolina nowadays. It's the absolute concern of a goaltender. This is a great young team with deep, talented group of forwards and a fantastic defense. They're great. But is James Reimer and Peter Mrazek good enough to win a Stanley Cup? It's tough. It really is. I mean, they have a great all-around team in general. This is not to say that they were an issue a year ago, but just that they are probably the biggest question on the roster. So if they can play well this upcoming season, I mean, Carolina could easily go to the Stanley Cup Finals. Simple as that. But it all depends on goaltending. And honestly, this whole list is all about goalies. Honestly, most of these teams have goalie issues, and that's a lot of questions going on into the season. The Chicago Blackhawks, who will play goalie this upcoming season? Well, it's going to be a long year in Chicago. We know that. I took the under in the season points for them. It's going to be tough for them. You got Kirby Dach and Alex Nylander. They'll probably miss the entire regular season, or at least most of it, obviously. Jonathan Toews not available as well because of an illness. The defense is bad, and the roster itself is thin. Okay, even worse, their biggest strength a year ago, goaltending, is now the biggest weakness. All right, Corey Crawford's gone. Robin Lehner, gone. That's just a position where now it belongs to a completely unproven duo of Colin Delia and Malcolm Subban. If they do not play well, this could be a very short season for the Blackhawks. So again, this is just more goalie questions in the air for these teams. The Colorado Avalanche. Will this be the year that they win the Stanley Cup? Well, I can tell you right now, my clients, and I gave out a free client play to everyone out there about a month ago at 9-1. They're now 6-1 to win the Cup. So you get a little bit of chalk value there at 9-1. Okay, still good money. Now it's at 6-1. So obviously, we know where the direction is going between Vegas, and that's why I caught them early for everybody to get on it. They might be the best team in the league on paper. Okay, the roster is loaded all over with a trio of all-stars on the top line, a great supporting cast, and an absolutely amazing, tremendous young defense that has its best days in front of it. Literally, this is a young, talented group, and their best days are coming. Really, even the goaltending, which was probably a question mark going into last season, ended up being great, which is phenomenal. But the window is wide open, and listen, man, Colorado and Colorado fans that are out there tuning in. This should be fun for years to come for this squad. A buddy of mine is actually an Avalanche fan as well, not from Colorado, but he is a Avs fan. He's been dying for a cup run, and I think this might be the year. But hey, they have a great future, and hey, the stars are aligning in Colorado. So I'm going to end it right there, okay? On Tuesday, I will talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets and go from there. I think on Tuesday, I'll probably talk everything about the biggest questions going into the upcoming season with every team. So it's a long segment, but listen, guys and ladies, I'm out of time. I hope everyone has a phenomenal new year. Whatever you're doing, stay safe. All right, stay safe. We're all in this together. It's been a crazy year. I want to thank everyone out there that has followed me through the year and hoping that I won you money, because I know I did. I want to thank 12 Ounce Sports as well for having me on board. Another fantastic year, and I look forward to 2021. Have a great new year, everyone, and I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday in 2021. See you guys. Bye.